but very excited.
Whoa. This is what $65 will get you in Fort Bragg. I don't mean...
Bail processing not included.
No, he's not $65. He's a lot more than that, of course you are. This is my room. with a nice shade. Very nice, very nice. And then the weird ass jacuzzi where someone has definitely given birth in there. Okay? Right there.
Yeah. Get in on those stains in there.
Okay, I don't...
Day 3 of the beer ride, Fort Bragg to Occidental, also known as the Queen Stage. It's the reason many of us return each year. It's an epic 113-mile adventure following some of the remotest coastal parts of Highway 1 and then turning inland at Jenner to follow the Russian River to the ride's spiritual home, Occidental and the Union Hotel.
So every day we have a ride leader. And the ride leader, the stage leader, basically is in charge of all the logistics and getting people out to the car park at 7:30. Coming down the stairs in the distance is Jason, who's always a problem. He's always late. So Fort Bragg to Occidental. Dave, why is it people that have e-bikes always talk about them? So we're leaving Fort Bragg now. Kind of gritty, always a little bit grey, and then we're going to have breakfast in Mendocino, which is probably the exact opposite, one of the most beautiful little villages in California.
Sadly, we're starting today with a man down. Andy's down there crisis prevented him from continuing. This ride is always tough, but this year's extreme heat on day 1 took its toll. Riders quitting has happened multiple times. One year we even had someone turn around at mile 14 just as he was approaching the first hill on day 1.
This is Mendocino. This is a beautiful place. There's a Masonic Hall up there.
Breakfast at the Good Life is excellent. We used to overnight in Mendocino, however in recent years the town's level of preciousness has accelerated, which really doesn't jive with the beer ride's aesthetic. There are, however, some real gems here. One of my favourites is Time and the Maiden, which is a somewhat eerie sculpture that sits on top of the Masonic Hall. Carved out of one solid block of redwood, it depicts Father Time with a sickle and a maiden. The enigmatic scene apparently is based on a secret temple ritual.
We're going to turn left, and you can really get the idea. It's perched on top of a cliff, a bluff, and the ocean is very dramatic. Mendocino Hotel. We used to stay there years ago. It kind of closed down for the pandemic, then reopened, and I think it's changed hands. Now this place, this is my favorite bar in all of, I would say, the northern coast. It's called Dick's. How you doing?
Sadly, no breakfast beer since it doesn't open until noon. Dick's is the perfect bar. It has the right amount of disdain for non-locals, but is always ultimately friendly and is full of colourful characters. Opened in 1934, you can just feel the history. It recently went up for sale, which in a changing Mendocino is very concerning. Now on to our next stop in Point Arena, which is 36 sublime miles south on Highway 1.
We made it! How you doing? Thank you. Just 3 more. So this, I always feel, is the kind of roughest portion of the road, Highway 1. It's almost like they just stopped trying to build it. But like everything, it's just getting improved now, widened. That's Jason up ahead. What I like about riding with these people for so many years, everyone just goes their own pace. Some are faster up the hills, some are slower. But you don't feel bad, you don't feel you have to wait for them. They know that we'll just see them at the next town or agreed upon stop. Today, the weather apparently will include a headwind, which is definitely against the prevailing winds. Normally they come from the north, and by late afternoon you're getting a 20-mile-an-hour push. Today, I think it's going to be different.
Before I went all in on my Occidental fixation, my favourite village on the coast was Point Arena. It's remote and not overly precious. It really reminds me of a seaside village you would see somewhere in the west of Ireland. As you may have noticed, I make frequent comparisons to the west of Ireland, but to me the western parts of Mendocino, Sonoma and Marin counties are so similar. Dramatic scenery interspersed with small towns and villages.
It's a nice burrito place we always stop on. It's very relaxing, just before Walala. Says it's closed. Private event. Every time. Hey, I'm just...
Timber Cove. Since year one, this has been our final stop before the dreaded mountain range that precedes Jenner. It is a nice fire and a bar that overlooks the Pacific. Unfortunately, in recent years, there's always either been a private event or we've been told that the bar is now for guests only. The last significant climbs are the mountains between Timber Cove and Jenner. You gain about 1,300 feet, but they are never as bad as we expect, and the views of the Pacific are incredible.
Okay, this is the top of the first hill on the way to Jenner. We go all the way down at high speed, very curvy, and then we climb again, and then there's one final long descent to Jenner.
We turn inland at Jenner to follow the Russian River, stopping briefly at Cafe Aquatica for some water and a rest.
Do you think you can make this flight car?
Saying goodbye to the coastal portion of Highway 1 is always a little sad. Since yesterday, it's been our companion for more than 130 miles. The ride to the Blue Heron along the Russian River, however, is a close second in terms of beauty.
Thank you so much, that's fine. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yeah. I've sat here with the family before, you know, setting sun. Feels like a country pub in Ireland, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
Right?
The 7-mile road connecting Monterrey to Occidental is known as the Bohemian Highway. This area, though remote, has seen some interesting visitors over the years. In the late 60s, after the Summer of Love, many hippies came up here from San Francisco to live off the land and practice alternative lifestyles. Most of the famous communes like Morning Star and Wheeler Ranch died off in the 70s, but there are still many interesting characters around. On perhaps the other extreme is the camp of the secretive and sinister all-male Bohemian Club, which is a private club based in San Francisco. Every July for well over 100 years, powerful people, including presidents like Nixon, Reagan, and the Bushes, have come here to glamp and connive in the woods. The camp was also the site of a key planning meeting in 1942 for the Manhattan Project, led by J. Robert Oppenheimer. The 7-mile climb to Occidental really isn't that steep, but I'm tired, and the planning I had on an empty stomach perhaps wasn't the best idea. My family and I have been coming to Occidental for many years. Even its name, which means related to the West, sounds magical. The high point of the beer ride is always dinner at the Union Hotel, which was established in 1879. At various times, it's included a hotel, a bar, a restaurant, a pizzeria, a coffee shop, a bakery, and even a mini arcade, all under one roof. Run by the lovely Barbara Ganella and her family, this gem has been in their family since 1925. Not far from where Hitchcock filmed the movie The Birds, Barbara has many stories of the interesting people that she has hosted over the years. One that particularly intrigues me is the artist Christo and his wife. Barbara got to know them in 1976 when they were creating the now mythical running fence art installation. The veiled fence ran 25 miles across the hills of Sonoma and Marin counties before disappearing into the Pacific. The installation was removed just 14 days later, leaving no visible trace behind.
There we go.
By San Geronimo Bridge.
That's it for the Queen stage. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to see Day 4, a journey through the dairy lands of Western Marin to Mallas Bay and ending at Gestalt House, the best bar in Marin.
Field work again.